Alcohol is the worst drug our world has today. The social norm of alcohol is fairly sickening. The idea of fun like holidays or vacation or parties or birthdays is usually tied to drinking, and alcohol dependency is crippling families across the world on a scale that no other drug competes with. Puking, drunk driving, loud obnoxious behavior, sexual harassment, and downright embarrassing behavior is a normality that couples drinking. Edit. People saying heroin is worse/coke is worse. I've seen addiction in all shapes and sizes, between first-hand witnessing heroin overdoses to living with a cocaine/crack addict to having a best friend addicted to meth. Not a single one of those drugs is as widespread, popular, and accessible as alcohol is, nor are they socially acceptable. As a society as a whole, no other drugs come close to the damage alcohol has caused. That's a fact. Though I guess it wouldn't be an unpopular opinion if people weren't disagreeing with me. Edit. To every alcoholic commenting about their hardships with drinking and overcoming them, remember that you are not you when you drink, and that being able to address that you in fact have a drinking problem is a giant step in the right direction to recovery. As someone who battled with addiction themselves, I support each and every one of you in hopes that you make your goal a reality. Your loved ones will appreciate the time they can share with you sober more than any other gift you could give them this holiday season. But remember to be careful when trying to quit drinking, and to seek medical advice when attempting to quit after being a long-time binge drinker, as shakes and seizures can be life-threatening and you may need additional help to wean yourself off of the alcohol. I don't like it personally and hate the way in my society that everything revolves around going for a night out with the object being to get as drunk as possible, then boasting the next day of the total state you were in and how hilarious it was. No, it wasn't funny. Don't forget the tens of thousands of people who die every year from straight-out alcohol poisoning. You forgot liver cirrhosis and this list of cancers: mouth cancer, pharyngeal cancer, esophageal cancer, 19% survival rate; laryngeal, voice box, cancer; breast cancer; bowel/colorectal cancer; liver cancer, 31% survival rate; pancreatic cancer, 9% survival rate. Not to mention depression, diabetes, if you drink mostly beer, and increased risk of Alzheimer's disease, which is terminal. It's here to stay though. Alcohol is the easiest drug in the world to make. Banning it is basically handing out money to people who sell contraband. It's why the mob became so powerful decades ago. To say it's the worst drug is a gross overstep. The proliferation of acceptably is terrible, but taking the opinion at face value in the title, it's not the worst by a wide margin. Until I went to rehab, I had no idea how dangerous alcohol actually is. They all agreed that alcohol kills more people than the opiates. You get the guys in their early 50s that have been drinking for 30 years and die of heart attacks. Yeah, that's from the alcohol guys. Drink a lot and you're risking liver, kidney, pancreatic and esophagus cancer too. You are all very disillusioned if you believe it's okay. It's certainly frustrating that moms in my state can wear shirts to pick up kids from school that say it's wine o'clock and no one even notices, but I would be ostracized for wearing a tee from one of the legal cannabis states I visited. If alcohol were discovered today, it would be banned by authorities. Completely agree. I'm an alcoholic and struggle so much with trying to stop, and you're right. Yes, that's true, that's why I chose to live a sober life. I'm a former addict. When I quit using coke and other drugs, people were very supportive. The same people though did not like the idea of me not drinking alcohol. It is the worst drug. And the peer pressure is so strange. Which really makes me think that more people have drinking problems than we'd ever imagine. It's definitely not the worst drug we have today. Meth is a lot worse than alcohol. It's probably the worst legal drug. As an alcoholic, I agree. It's the worst drug because of how accessible it is. If we lived in a society where you could buy meth at the supermarket, meth would be much worse than alcohol. Alcohol isn't necessarily crack cocaine. It's just the fact you can buy it anywhere. It's an easy way to give up all responsibility. Yet it's a fucking shit drug. Alcohol is far more destructive than what you hear. It has some very scary statistics relating to rape and murder. In fact, it is known as the most dangerous drug there is out there. The dangers for yourself and the persons around you are bigger with alcohol than with any other drug. Also, the most drug-based crimes are committed by people who drank alcohol, but it has gotten a tradition to drink alcohol, so I think there won't be any more limitations in the near future. I worked for a criminal defense lawyer who said it was the #1 drug he would remove if possible. And yet weed is illegal and frowned upon by many people. I don't think drunk driving and sexual harassment are normalized whether you're drunk or not anymore at least, and loud obnoxious behavior is not tolerated in its extreme. Does alcohol do a lot of damage to a lot of people's lives? Absolutely. But it also does good for people who don't have addiction problems and can use it in moderation. It might tear some families apart, but it brings some together. People are going to get to know each other a lot better at a tipsy holiday party than a sober one. It helps people socialize and helps them open up emotionally when those things can be difficult sober. It helps people have fun. There are obviously terrible things that happen with alcohol, but there are some good things too. And I think we can work to minimize the bad things. And as far as worst drug in the world, sure, in total damage, but only because it's the only drug that's been legal in most places. Pound for pound, it's nowhere close. If all drugs were legal and widely available tomorrow, alcohol would not be near the most damaging in a year's time. I think it's also the fact that society is moving towards the idea of binging being acceptable. It's one thing to go out, or even to drink, but society is now moving towards the behaviors where 1. Your holiday/weekends are useless unless you're going out or partying. 2. When you do go out, you're getting so hammered to the point of practically blacking out. 3. People feel the need to brag about how hammered they're getting. 4. There's all these jokes now about being alcoholic. Apparently addiction is funny now, but not when a celebrity overdoses. People really underestimate the damage alcohol can do. Going out and drinking is fine, being dependent on it to the point that you cannot drink whenever you go out is a problem. Alcohol is simply poison, it ruins lives. I never blacked out and did anything regrettable because I smoked weed. I have done extremely regrettable things while blackout drunk. Sucks that the one that's ruining my life most is the one that's easiest to get. Today marks 50 days without alcohol. It's been a long 50 days because I have to actively work to remind myself every day of why I can't drink again, but I know that all it takes to go back is a few dollars and a quick walk around the corner. A lot of people in recovery talk about getting to a point where you stop even thinking about drinking. I'm still not there yet. Alcohol has been scientifically identified as the most harmful drug overall. https://www.economist.com/sites/default/images/2019/06/article/main/2004 PNG, not the most harmful for the individual, fourth behind crack, meth, and heroin, but by far the most harmful to others. Honestly, by not drinking alcohol you can have a ridiculously good impact on society as a whole and on the environment as well, since the industry pollutes a ton. I absolutely agree 100% with this post. Plus, it is the one that most people rush to defend. Most of them are drunks or are brainwashed into the immature thinking that getting obnoxiously knock-kneed drunk is partying. No redeeming factors whatsoever. I agree. Its acceptance in society plus its dangerous effects does make it one of the worst drugs. It's so widely used. Hopefully alcohol will start going the way of cigarettes. No more TV commercials and ads. Heroin and meth are worse, but I get the sentiment. It's way worse than people realize. Every drug I ever did was because alcohol told me to do it. Porn is a worse drug. As an extremely hungover person I agree. Source, am alcoholic. As an alcoholic I concur. I disagree. Social media is the worst drug we have today. Highly addictive and affects nearly every single person. As someone who is struggling with alcoholism, I agree. As someone sitting on the floor next to the toilet, I couldn't agree more. It's pretty bad. But there are much darker demons out there. Heroin is like if alcohol did cocaine. Alcohol culture in general is very boring. Alcohol. Unfortunately, it's connected to glamour and a hot lifestyle. I'm pretty sure crocodile is worse. The scale of alcohol's effects aren't matched by or drugs because alcohol is legal in more places than anything else, not because it is worse than the rest. Everything in moderation. Alcohol can be your friend if you let it. Going for a hike in the Adirondacks? A dark trail beer halfway through is just right. Celebrating the new year? A glass of champagne with a raspberry is a nice bubbly treat. Mexican food with the brothers. How about a cold Corona and lime or a margarita? No judgment. Sexy time with a friend? A glass of Cabernet Sauvignon goes perfect with a foot massage. The key is everything in moderation. No bloody chance is alcohol the worst. Have you not heard of meth? There are far worse drugs than alcohol that will destroy your life the first time you do them. Is weed better? Welcome to r/drugs. Yeah, it's a nasty one, especially when you can't control yourself. Same with a lot of drugs. I disagree. I'm both making and drinking beer, usually a bottle every day, and honestly I'd say it's all up to you how things work out. There's nothing wrong with going with your friends to the pub and enjoying a beer with your friends or colleagues. Most people won't get drunk after one beer, and they oftentimes can really have great time with the complex taste and flavor. That being said, it's not really true with vodka and other spirits. In the end, it's all up to you. If we could teach better drinking etiquette, that would help. Had a hangover a few days ago, lasted 2 days. Terrible. And so many people feel like this way each weekend, then deciding to drink again just to feel bad once more. Talking about addiction. Unless you're at my annual Christmas party, where everyone has at most 2 beers, I buy one 12-pack with festive beer, because last time I bought 2, the second one didn't even get used, but then again I'm 31 years old and it's only 20 people or so. I don't disagree with you. Key difference is moderation. Of course some people take alcohol overboard, like anything, but unlike hard drugs, it is something that can be consumed casually and responsibly and enjoyed in moderation. You have made a bit of a dangerous, overarching, broad, and false statement. But like anything, of course a portion of the population will take it too far and overdo it, but that does not make it the most dangerous drug. I can have 2 beers, enjoy my night, drive home safely and get up for the work the next day. Of course not everyone can do that. That does not apply to your more dangerous drugs. I would argue that tobacco is far worse than alcohol, if anything. Case in point, teens and jewels.